Okay, so let's look at these problems on this worksheet. You should have already tried these in class. I'm just going over each one a little bit more in depth so you have something to kind of help you as you're on your own. It says a random sample of 300 adults participated in a random survey of 4 genres of music. Each adult listened to 4 types of music labeled A, B, C, and D, and they were asked to pick a favorite. The table shows the results of this test. So down here it says, based on the information given, which statements are true, and in bold it says, circle all that apply. All right. So this is a multiple select item. This is where you can have more than one answer. So let's look at each answer individually. It says 43% of the population were women. So remember, when we go up here, we want to see how many total women did we have in this population. Remember, to get the percentage, we take the total number of whatever thing we're looking at, whether it's women or men or whatever, and we divide it by the total. So in this case, the total number of women is 130, and then the total number of participants here was 300. So if we take 130 in our calculator, we take 130 divided by 300, we should get 43%. And when you do that, 130 divided by 300, you get 0.433333. So remember, to get the percent, you multiply by 100 or move the decimal 2 places to the right. So it's 43.3. 43% is close enough. So in this particular problem, A is one of the answers. All right. Looking at B, it says 40% of the participants preferred A. So how many total people preferred A? Well, we come to this column, and the total number of people that preferred A were 90. So 90 people out of 300 preferred A. So we'll go to our calculator again, and we'll do 90 divided by 300. And we'll hit enter, and we get 0.3. And again, that's if you move the decimal 2 places to the right, that's 30%. So this says 40%, so we know that's not an answer. All right. Now, for the last two, we don't have to do any calculations in our calculators. We just have to look at the options. It says 35 over 170, or 35 out of 170, men preferred B. So let's look at the number of men who preferred B. Here's the men. Come over to where B is. 35 people did. All right. And we're talking about the total number of men here. So 35 out of 170 men preferred B, and that is true. So on that one, we'll circle C. That is true. So 30 out of 65 of the people who preferred B. So this is where our total is going to come from. All right. So of the people who preferred B, a total of 65 people preferred B. All right. And they say that 30 out of 65 of those people were women. So the number of women who preferred B were 30 out of 65. So this one is also correct. So for this particular question, A, C, and D are the answers. All right. For number 2, it says when the following equations are graphed, they intersect at a point, and then they give you these 2 equations, and they want to know what the y-coordinate of the point of intersection. Now, if you remember this problem in class, I told you the easiest way to do this is to put it in your calculator. So you want to go up to the y equals button. We'll clear that out. Go up to y equals, and if there's anything there, we'll hit clear and enter. We'll clear it out. And we'll graph the first function. The first function is x squared minus 3x minus 6. So we'll do x, and then the x squared button is down here on the left, squared, minus 3, and the x button is there, and then minus 6. So that's our first function. Now we have to graph the other function as well. So we're going to put that in the y2 place there. So in y2, we'll do x to the third, or x cubed. So x, and remember, getting any other exponent other than 2, we have to hit this upside down v. So that's called the caret button. So x to the third minus 4x, and then the squared button's right there, minus 3x, and then minus 8. So now we hit enter, Now both of our functions are input. We can hit the graph button, which is up here in the top right corner. So we'll hit graph, and our calculator will graph the first function. That's a quadratic function, made the U shape. And then the x cubed function came along after. That's that little squiggly line. If we were zoomed out further, we'd see that it'll make a lightning bolt shape. All right, so the best way to get the y coordinate we see is they're intersecting right up in here somewhere. So we want to arrow our thing up there, and it might be hard to see here, but we'll arrow up. And the best thing to do is to get that on that point. But since we're zoomed way out, it's kind of hard to see exactly where it zooms in. So we need to do a zoom here. So if we hit zoom, which is right there in the middle, and then we'll do the Z box is probably the easiest way to do it. So we'll do the Z box, we'll hit enter. And then basically with the box, remember, you hit enter on one corner and then you drag and then you arrow over and it'll make a box and then you hit enter again. So we kind of stay a little bit below where we think it is and get up over there a little close, see how the thing is there. So we'll hit enter on that, and then when we arrow over, notice it makes a line, and we got to get beyond that a little bit. And then we have to arrow up to try to get inside that box, that place where we think the intersection is. So you make a box, whatever you think is good for you, but that should get the point of intersection. So we'll hit enter again, and it'll zoom right in wherever we made that box. And you notice there's our points, and we'll hit our cursor, and it puts us right in the middle of the screen. We had to arrow over and then try to get down on that point as close as we can. And you notice it's crossing. You see the y coordinate down here on the right. It's about 4.5-ish, 4.6. So on our answer here, we'll say about 4.5 to 4.6, something like that. Just remember on the PARCC, they'll probably give you a more accurate number, something like a whole number, 5, 7, whatever, excuse me. Okay, so those are the first two problems. If you have any questions on them, bring them to class.